This program is rated PG. Parental guidance.
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Merupakan satu penghormatan pada hari ini, kami akan menemu buah salah seorang pelakon suara termuka dari Amerika Syarikat, iaitu Sean Chiplock. Pelakon berusia 34 tahun ini telah memulakan debutnya sejak tahun 2012. Selama lebih kurang 12 tahun bekerja, beliau telah terlibat dalam berbagai projek bermula daripada permainan video dan anime. Kali ini, beliau menjadi tetamu jemputan di konvensi Furry Malaysia, iaitu Furs Upon Malaysia, FurUM. Dan ini merupakan kali pertama beliau ke Asia Tenggara.
Hello, welcome back. Today, I have the guest of honor of FurUM 2024, Sean Chiplock.
Oh my God, me? Hello. Thank you for having me so much. It's super exciting to be here. It's nuts to me that I am so far across the world from where I usually live in California right now. I think California is 16 hours behind. It's almost midnight over here, right?
Yeah,
So it's pretty early in the current day over in Los Angeles right now. So, yeah.
All right, I got some questions, so here it comes. So, it's your first time in Malaysia, correct?
Yes, I believe so. In fact, I don't even think I've ever done a flyover in Malaysia. When I went to the Philippines, which I think was earlier this year, I think that was a direct flight. That was a straight flight.
Damn.
It was. So this is the first time I've been in Malaysia proper, correct?
Here comes some question about you.
Okay.
What made you interested in pursuing career as a voice actor? Well, that's...
No, I know. It's voice acting was a very sudden passion that fell upon me. I was awake late one evening. Through just browsing the internet, I ended up finding these random videos that showcased voice actors doing their job. And the best way that I can describe it is that at the time I didn't know what I was looking at, but I knew that my heart was in it. I just wanted to learn more, I wanted to do more. The more of it I did, the more I realized, oh, this is coming from a genuine place of interest. This is something that I enjoy doing, not because other people are telling me I should do it. And that's really what's driven me, and I hope that's what continues to drive me, because I think the passion is a really important part of it.
Well, I know you. I've been stalking you, haha. But I see that you've been in multiple projects, from either very small indie animation to even big-ass AAA games.
Did you say you have a big ass?
No.
I don't have a big ass.
I'm just saying
I've been
that-
working very hard on my ass. You're saying it's not big enough?
You just work a lot of stuff that's for 1 second you're from that guy, he's from an indie animation, to another guy to he's also voice acted in a video game.
Now I'm curious what your references are. To you, what is the small indie animation and what is the large project that you know me from?
When I look at small projects, I'm like, it's a small team.
Right.
And then when I see big projects, it's like, oh my God, this is an entire company.
Sure. Well, now you have me even more curious. What is the small project you're thinking of?
Must be the recent one, you've been working with the Glitch Studio for the Amazing Digital Circus.
Ah, yes. The infamous small animation digital circus. I just thought that was funny because I wonder if they're thinking about the project I think they're thinking about. But I agree with you that I'm sure when it started, it was we're this small dedicated team. We don't know how popular something like this is going to get. When we first recorded for Danganronpa, everyone that recorded on that game thought to themselves, oh, this is a nice little niche murder mystery visual novel. It's a little off the wall, but not many people are gonna know about it. And then of course Tumblr happened and Danganronpa blew up overnight. So yeah. But yes, Glitch has been phenomenal as well. So yeah.
Well, speaking about you doing voice acting, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you the most hard question, baby. Can you able to handle it, which is, who is your most favorite character you have to voice acted as?
I don't like playing favorites because I could come up with a similar story for every role that I've done in a way that it's impacted my life or allowed me to showcase my talent or allowed me to connect with communities. It would be unfair to say, oh, well, this project was okay, but it's still not my favorite compared to this. Also because, there's a bunch of people in this room besides just the two of us. I imagine not every single person knows me from the same character, from the same project. How unfair would it be to them if I was like, oh, well, the project that you know me from was okay, but their project was the one that was my personal favorite. Like, it kind of removes you from that conversation,
Yes.
So I want to be inclusive of everyone, be able to say, hey, no matter what you know me from, here's something really cool that I can share about that project as well. So I would say, to properly answer your question, I'm going to change the question to, which role do I think has affected me the most? Because that one I can give an honest answer to. And as of late, I would have to say that is ReZero, just because ReZero it's an incredible show. I've worked closely with the cast. I've had my ups and my downs with the project. I've grown alongside the character. And even though I love all the different works that I've done, I can say truthfully that ReZero has made me cry the most often outside of the booth. Whether that's things that I was proud of, or things that I was nervous about, or how much I cared about the show, or how much I wanted people to see how much I cared about the show. That is the one where I've sobbed the most, because I was so nervous, worried, proud, affected, scared, excited, intimidated, inspired. So that is the one that I would say, if we think about what has affected me the most, it would be ReZero. But if it comes down to what's my favorite, I hope that I never stop finding new things that I love about the work that I'm doing, because I never want my favorite to be something that's a decade old, because that means out of all the new projects I've done over time, that none of them were a favorite for some reason.
One question about voice acting in general, which is, how do you approach a new role? You got a new role, how do you develop a unique voice for
Sure. Well, it's a collaborative process. What a lot of people need to know is I, as the actor, will do a lot of my own homework in terms of reading up on the character, or if it's for a franchise that already exists, I'll see what research I can do. Sometimes we get sides for a project and it's a brand new project, so we don't know what kind of world they're creating yet. Sometimes it's a project for an ongoing franchise, it's a new entry, but there's previous games that have existed. So I will do what I can to concoct my idea of how I interpret the character. We will work together to refine what I have in mind with what aligns with the client's needs. To give some examples, again, using Breath of the Wild as an example, Rivali was a character where my understanding of him, I came in with kind of this idea that he was kind of performative, that he was putting on a show the way that some birds, like peacocks, do a fancy display of themselves. But then I was informed by the client that Rivali he is very talented. He doesn't need to prove how good he is. He only really acts this way towards this one character because that's he feels intimidated by him. So then I had to kind of change my understanding and go, okay, so Rivali acts this way not because he's trying to convince people that he's the best, but because he feels like this person isn't giving him the respect that he deserves. You know what I mean? Yes. And that changing that attitude will change the entire performance. So that is a case where the collaborative process molded what we did for the character into the performance that you hear today. But on the other side of that coin, when I voiced Teba, they were like, oh, we have this other character that we need a voice for. You've already done the Greg Deku tree and Rivali. Can you do a different voice for this one? And that was generic. That was literally in the middle of the session going, here's this third character. Can you do something for him? Like very basic description.
Damn, it's not even any preparation.
I know. That happens. That happens. And I said, show me a sample scene. And they showed me a sample scene and I went, I think I know what he sounds like in my head based on what I saw and how his character moved, the expressions that he gave. So I made a choice in that moment of how I was going to make him sound. And I gave the sample performance and they said, yeah, that works for us.
Oh no, the script went off. But I got one question in my mind he's not even put in, which is bringing my mind for what is your fursona?
What is my fursona?
Yeah.
Are any of you familiar with a DJ/dancer named Ronnie by any chance? Way back in my own college days, he got me the classic way, which was because he was already part of the fandom. And he goes, hey, what's your favorite animal? And I go, yeah, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. I know, it's just I remember at the time being like, look, I get what you're doing, but I'm focused on stuff and it's not my kind of thing. And he goes, I know, it's fine. I'm just saying, out of curiosity, what's your favorite animal? I'm like, God fucking damn it. So I eventually told him a lynx at the time, because like I really like cats like the Iberian lynx and stuff like that. I like the tufts of fur that they had in their cheeks. And at first that's what I thought it would be, but when I talked to an artist that I was in conversation with at the time, without missing a beat, they go, no, you're a serval. And I go, what the hell is a serval? And the more I learned about it, it's like, oh, they've got long legs, they're nocturnal, they're good swimmers, you know, they tend to have energy closer to a dog than an actual cat. I was like, oh, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So this is the art that I would consider to be the modern day version of him. So I will bring this around to all of the cameras that happen to be showing it as well.
Oh, yo, we see.
Yes. Is there one over there too?
Yes, Mom.
Zoom in! There you go. When I started going to the cons and seeing people walking around in partials, you had that feeling of, I can't just watch, you know, I gotta be a part of this as well. It took me 3 years of waiting because my maker took way too long on making the suit. But I'm extremely happy to say it's not that scary. Jesus, relax. But after 3 patient years of waiting, I was finally able to get that. He's had a fair number of repairs. Like he's those are hand sewn spots. So as they've come loose, I've had to get them touched up as well. But I'm extremely happy with how it came out, and I'm hoping that folks will get to get some photos this weekend. My personal crush is Gintan, and I'm super...
Jintan?
Jintan.
The dancer guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite well known. Oh my god, actually there's one question in here that's actually is great to say now, which is, why a full fursuit?
Huh?
Because here's the thing, I don't have a full fursuit, I have a partial fursuit, and it's kind of a mixed bag, especially in the furry fandom. Oh, it's not a fursuit if it's a partial, or it's a full.
The worst argument I've heard, or the most common argument I've heard about that is how they feel about poodlers.
Yes.
But like, I don't give a shit. Like, first of all, we all know that fursuiting, just like any kind of fandom thing, is a luxury. It's a luxury. And that means it's a luxury not everyone can afford. I'm sure that there are plenty of people that have incredibly creative character designs that would make for great suits that don't have one because they don't have a couple $1,000s laying around. You know that suit I just showed you?
Yeah.
Do you want to take a guess how much that cost with shipping included?
5K.
Lower.
4K?
Lower.
3K.
3,500.
Okay.
That full thing was 3,500. You try and get anything full suit nowadays, you're starting at like 5 to 6, bare minimum. You know that's the case. How many people do you know in your life that have $6,000 just laying around?
I know some people, but most of the time, they did spend it on fursuit. You know what I tell them? Instead of saying, oh man, you should have saved it up for your, I don't know, retirement.
Live your best life.
I just say, go for it, baby.
Live your best life. So full suiting is fine, but it's an involved process. Like it's a lot. I can't just throw on, paws in a head and then decide to go out like some people can. And I'll be honest, there's folks that I've seen who they have a whole outfit that goes with the character. And it's one thing to have like a full character who walks around naked, quote unquote. But if you have like an outfit that goes with that character and like makes them feel like they are living like in the world, that is impressive as hell.
I also noticed you lift up one of the most important thing about fursuiting, which is maintaining your own self. Like,
yeah.
It is like, as also a fursuit itself, it's very hot inside.
Yeah,
it's hot, and you need to drink up a lot, like you suddenly became thirsty.
Yes, hydration is super, super important.
Make sure to drink enough water, 8 glasses a day, or if you're a fursuiter, 10 glasses a day. You're kind of immersed with the furry fandom recently a lot. What part of the fandom, in the furry fandom, are you the most engaged in right now?
It's hard to say like which part of the fandom I'm the most involved in, because I'm not an artist, I'm not a musician, I'm not a fursuit creator. I'm an active participant, but still very much an observer rather than a contributor. But I will say what I am the most enthusiastic about when it comes to the community is like I said, there's the creative side, obviously, where I love seeing all these ideas people come up with. I love seeing what artists design. I love going to Dealer's Den during furry conventions because by and large, there isn't that same sense of like massive reseller booths that you'll often see at anime conventions. It's almost all like independent creators, their booths, their merchandise and stuff like that.
I just hear a bit of your origin story just now when you're talking about your fursona, which is, the friend did ask you what animal you like, but what drew you into the furry fandom? Like, what makes you come here?
So I would say what drew me to the fandom is the combination of, oh, animals are cute. I really like cute things. It makes me feel happy. It makes me smile more. And also, oh, I really like that there's all these creative things that I can discover within the fandom as well. I would say in general, it's just like, we live in a very scary world right now. There's a lot of things that make us feel nervous or make us want to have an escape. That's why video games are doing so well. I like that furry can kind of be that escape for people.
Because you're a voice actor and you're also a furry, do you feel this is your identity or one being or separate? Like, oh, this is just
very much separate. And that's not for any particular reason of like, oh, I don't want my career to be associated with this in any capacity. In fact, I am always looking for more ways to combine more of my career with the fandom, to find ways that I can be a contributor, not just a consumer. I could enjoy the fandom without voiceover being a part of it, and I definitely could continue my career even if it was not associated with furry in any way. I am glad that there's opportunities for the two to overlap, but I do see them as separate identities.
I see. Okay. Another one, second last, which is, I want to ask, which is, I know you've been to Philippines, Malaysia, is that correct?
To Philippines, not Malaysia. This is the first time I've been in Malaysia.
Okay.
Unless, are they part of the same?
No, they're not.
Okay.
What other parts of Asia do you like to visit?
Well, prior to the Philippines, the only other time that I had been in Asia would be Japan. Japan is part of. Now you've got me self-conscious. It's part of Asia, right?
It is.
Okay. So I had been in Japan in 2016 to go to Summer Comic-Con, actually, of a lot of things. And that was also fun because among stuff that I picked up for friends, there were furry artists that I recognized there as well. I'm actually planning on going back to Japan in February, and that's just by pure coincidence as well. But really, that had just been the only three. I had been Japan almost 8 years ago at this point, and then within the last year, both to the Philippines and now here to Malaysia. When I think of countries that I would like to go to, it's hard to answer because as someone who gets invited to cons, I enjoy the chance to travel, especially because it's like, Lord knows I wouldn't have had the money to come to Kuala Lumpur, to Malaysia on my own. I just wouldn't have been able to take off the time. So what makes it easier is being able to tell clients, hey, I have a contractual obligation to go to this event, especially if they're covering my hotel, if they're covering my airfare.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Okay, you know what? Look at me. I draw you a fan art. But here it comes.
Okay.
You're gonna see it.
Is it inflatable Rivali?
Oh my god, did you read my mind? No, it's not. But, okay, first thing first, oh cute, this is like some of my sisters.
Oh, this is incredible!
This is done by my older brother, but I'll give you the suite and I'm gonna show you, okay.
Before you pull out the other one, I wanna show the cameras that, no, this is fucking incredible. Like, seriously. Wait, no, is there something bad?
Oh, yeah. No, please don't.
No.
Camera.
Okay. I won't show the other one. I don't even know what you're talking about. But look at that.
We caught it.
That's incredible.
Drawn by my older brother.
That is so adorable.
Blue sky. All right.
No.
Okay.
No.
Wait.
Wait, it's.
Wait. Okay, I need. Okay, so are you ready, guys? Everyone, it's like a Pokemon card reveal.
Oh boy.
Here it comes.
Oh, everyone else is gonna see it before I see it.
Are you ready?
The legacy continues.
Boom, bitches! So, I saw you one time. I saw you.
One time, he says. One time. That's all it takes.
But then you said bigger. And then suddenly she's an artist I follow.
Now I need a special. I need us to make note. Enjoy this. You see the size of this, okay? What's the size of this screen? Huh? 13. That doesn't line up. What I'm trying to say is, this could be bigger.
And I will.
I told you to print it in the size of our.
Look at this. Oh, look at that. Compared to this, it's so small. It's so small. Look at. I can't even put my arm around him. Like, hey, baby, what you doing? I can't cuddle this. This is tiny.
I will make a bigger one, but I don't know how I can even give it to you.
Airmail it. You know how like they send you those rectangles, mailing tubes that they send posters in?
Yeah.
You need to send me a cargo shipping crate on a ship, and they unlatch the metal door and they open it, and it's a single giant rolled up poster of this, and they need like a fucking like crane to grab it and pull it out and unfurl it. I want it to be like the American flag at the Oval Office, flapping in the wind of giant Rivali.
Of course, you already know, I already make second copies for, well, one for me and one.
Oh, good. This is why we're doing the interview. Now we get to the core of all this. This was all a goddamn front so that you could get an autograph. I think this is super adorable. This is incredibly well done, so thank you. I'm free. I feel open. I can be who I want to be, and I'm just yes. And how does this make you feel? How do you feel when you turn into the Twitter bird? Yes.
We want to open the floor to anyone who has extra questions, so we're going to take out the mic and pass to people.
I gotta ask though, when it comes to creating all these characters, all these fantastic works of art, how do you even keep track of who is who actually? Like, oh, this voice belongs to that character and that voice belongs to this character though. It has to be, I kind of assume like you have to do it all in one day or even in a week or something like that.
You are correct in that we probably will not do everything in a single day. That is not commonly the case unless you're just doing a bunch of incidentals. And you're also right in that if it's been a while, it may be hard for me to remember what voice I'm going to do. At the beginning of the session, after we talk about what we're going to be recording, they'll say, let's get you into character voice, here's some references. And they will play reference lines for me, usually either the Japanese reference if we're dubbing over the Japanese performance, or more commonly, once I have done any recording for the character, they'll have a couple lines that I did from the previous sessions that they'll play for me, and I do what's called a listen and repeat, where I hear the line and then I say it back exactly the way that I just heard it in the character's voice and everything, and that's kind of what helps set me up there. Perfect example is there is an anime that's being released already called Beyblade X. It's the new entry of the Beyblade series, and I voice number 0, who is the hype match announcer. He is always shouting, always hyping up the moment that just happened. And when you do that for 2 hours straight, most people are gonna sound like this at the end of it. Now, it takes a little longer for me to be worn down because I have experience with doing it, but every human has their limits. I'm gonna naturally get worn out. So on days where I know I'm recording for that session, I may go, okay, that is the only session that I'm doing that day, or if I do have to do other sessions, I'm gonna make sure that I record for Beyblade last, because if I do that first and then I go and do even more performing, I'm gonna rip my throat apart.
Well, that's gonna be a lot of water for you to go down.
Oh
just
yes,
to get that.
I don't have it with me at this con, but I have like a 64-ounce growler, like one of those giant water bottles, and I will go through that at least once, if not twice, during a busier day in recording. But staying hydrated is absolutely one of the most important parts.
Is it gonna be sparkling or still water?
Still water. I don't sparkling carbonated water and stuff like that. It's carbonation is bad for. It can give you the hiccups. It can get in your nose and burn if you accidentally like sneeze or something like that. No, it's still water.
Do you work with a team of people, and like do you have like agents that help you manage your schedule and?
Yeah. So as I mentioned in the booth when recording, obviously I will be working with the director. I'll be working with the sound engineer. Sometimes there's a client that will be sitting in. Sometimes it's a localization director for working on an adaptation. So in the booth, there's definitely teamwork. Outside of the booth, yes, I do have an agency, SBV Talent, that represents me. And in my agent's job is to either based on their knowledge of their talent, or if they're just casting a wide net, to send out those auditions to people on their roster who then record their auditions and send them in. When it came to Guilty Gear Strive, which as people know I voiced Kai Keyscon, I was sent the audition directly by the studio that was going to be doing the recording for it, which was PCB Productions. They said, here are auditions for Guilty Gear. But when I auditioned and sent it off, I let them know, hey, because this is a union job, if I book it, you will want to talk to my agent because they're going to handle the scheduling, the payments, everything like that. For non-union stuff that there are people who have non-union agents In my case, because I have a union agent, I'm not supposed to have one for non-union. So in that case, I do that myself, where the company sends me the audition, I send in my takes. If I'm booked, they reach out to me to ask my availability. I let them know what my schedule is looking like. So there is a little bit of like organization and time management as well. When it comes to conventions, I do also have a convention agent as well. And the convention agent's job similarly is to reach out to events and go, hi, I noticed that your event is coming up. I'd like to pitch this talent or this group of talent for your event. Here's why I think they'd be a good fit. That's part of why the Philippines happened, was because the Philippines was crazy about Genshin Impact, and my con agent was able to go, hey, I've got a couple actors from Genshin that would be happy to travel to the Philippines. They voice very popular characters. I think they'd be a big draw for your event. And then, of course, there's some events like FurUM, especially the furry community in general, where maybe there's less business tape involved, where the owners of the cons will just kind of interact with me directly and go, hey, we'd like to have you as a guest, or people recommended you as a guest. Would you be interested in coming? So it's all over the place.
Do you have like a personal assistant that follows you around?
I imagine some people do. Like, there are colleagues that I know have like a team of people that help them run things, you know? I've seen postings in the past where people are like, hey, I'm looking for a personal assistant who organizes my auditions and is able to like send me like stuff in on a daily basis that I can then sift through. And I have thought about at times if it might be worth having one. I currently do not. I just feel like it's stuff that I can manage on my own. I've considered it like part of my job as a voice actor, but I will admit that there are sacrifices I make because of it, because I have to handle all the scheduling if my agent doesn't do it, because I sometimes have to be the one responsible for looking up my avails, because I'm the one who has to write emails to clients at times. That does all take up extra time, and there are times when I spend just as much doing the business side of things after the auditions are done than I spend on the actual auditions, which can lead to extra time being spent on the computer, on my phone, you know, doing business stuff. When I landed in Malaysia, at the same time that I was super jet lagged, I had to respond to my agent sending me auditions and just let them know, hey, just reminding you that I'm international right now, so I probably am not going to be able to send in auditions for these projects you're sending me. I just don't want you to think I'm blowing you off. It's because I'm not around right now. So it's very much a collaborative process.
You use your vocals a lot. Especially in this interview, you used it a lot. But yet at the same time, you have to do a lot of voice acting.
Yep.
So, how can you maintain that vocal health the whole time while maintaining such a fast-paced career for yourself? looking at your
I know, it's very involved.
How did you do that?
Well, part of it is just physical training. The throat muscle is a muscle like any other part of the body. So like, as long as you're taking care of it and not tearing it apart constantly, it will get worn down, but it will grow stronger over time. You should be drinking water 24 hours before whatever session you're doing, because it needs time to circulate through the body. If your body's telling you you're thirsty, drink something. If I know I'm gonna be doing a lot of work, I will protect my voice. For example, I do a lot of streaming. I do like streaming when I can. I have been on hiatus the last 2 months because I told my community, hey you all, there is a lot of work coming down the pipeline, and I am worried that if I record every day and I'm streaming, I'm gonna blow my voice out, and then it's gonna be difficult to do my job. So I stopped streaming for a couple months so that during the evenings, I could just not talk and rest my voice, and then I'd be able to come in the following day and do the best job that I could do. And I guess making sure you get proper rest, you know? Avoid staying up until 1:15 in the morning doing interviews. I don't think anyone has done that to me yet, but you know, I'll be vigilant. I gotta keep a careful watch out for folks that would do that to me. No, but like, just being aware of, it's not the kind of thing where I want people to be like, oh, I have to give up all sense of fun. I can't do anything for myself. It's just being aware of the choices that you're making and how that might affect you.
Basically, self-care, love yourself. Okay, big lesson for me, myself. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
And finally, yes, Mom.
The one more thing.
So the box is covered. He will tie the ribbon and
Okay.
He asked the final question.
Oh, which is like, what do you want to say for people going to FurUM?
respond to this question in a character's voice.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, who's one? Which one you want?
Because we don't have a poll that works, so
You choose.
Choose any voice you want and then answer the question that voice.
Well, I haven't seen any other avians at this convention yet, but I hope that if I do, they know to respect the superior one.
Yay!
Actually, applause please.
Yeah!
It works.
Alright, any longer and we are all going to be dust anyway.
Right.
All right, let's call it.